Hello, welcome to Cinema Gulp. I'm Captain America.
And I'm Batman.
And we just saw the latest superhero extravaganza to hit the big screen. We saw Rocketman.
Yeah, and you should see this Rocketman's powers. He could fly, he could dance, he could sing, he could play the piano, and he could wear the shit out of a feather headdress.
Which one of those powers do you have, Batman?
I could do cocaine. I hope you don't mind. We're doing a Cinema Gulp review
Of Rocketman. So, Elton, what'd you think of this movie?
Well, John, Rocketman is the best movie of the year so far, in my opinion. I haven't seen a whole lot yet, that's super, super great. When the Oscar stuff comes later down the year, we'll see how that changes. But love this movie. It was fantastic. It was fun. It had energy. It had a great acting. The direction was just superb. What'd you think?
I guess to use a rocket pun, I thought this movie was a blast. It was just a hell of a lot of fun. And normally a musical, I don't connect with musicals all that often. It takes the right one. This doesn't play out where the music is just overbearing and the musical numbers kind of take too much time to get back to the storytelling. That's what I feel like happens often in musicals.
Yeah.
This one, it peppers the music just right, and I think it does an excellent job of continuing the storytelling while the music is playing. That's one of my favorite parts of this movie, is how they use the music to help continue tell the story.
Yeah, it's not interrupting the story. It's progressing the story. Big musical numbers can be really lame. I think there's one in here towards the beginning, which I really enjoyed, but it was probably the most choreographed musical number, which kind of had like a Grease vibe to it, sort of.
At the fair?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Okay.
Because it was... What I say the musical numbers do the most is they transition. Because especially when he gets a little bit more on drugs and stuff like that, when he's finding himself months down the road and we're finding him, he's disoriented.
They help with the passage of time.
Yeah.
In very creative ways. What I really liked in that one specifically, and really all throughout the whole film, was the choreography in those dance numbers. They're not dance numbers. They're very simple kind of dance moves, especially what he's doing.
Yeah.
But they're very effective in storytelling. Just very simple things he does. And every song in this movie I know. Elton John,
his music's awesome.
His music's awesome. But it took me a while, almost every time a song started, because they don't necessarily start it with the same piano riff.
No, they're like little different.
He slowly gets into the song. And so not knowing his music like the back of my hand and knowing every lyric, I was always like, oh, which song is this? And had to kind of wait for the chorus almost to know, oh, what song are we in?
Yeah.
And so in those moments, I was just listening to the lyrics and hearing the story progress within those lyrics, and then eventually catching on of, oh, this is that song. Oh, this is that song.
That's so great that they did that, because that way you're not just listening to like a greatest hits peppered throughout a movie, kind of like the way the Doors did.
Music video.
Yeah, it's so cool. When he's going through different things in his life, like the scene in the pool and stuff, and then he kind of looks at the camera. They did that scene beautifully. And he just starts singing Rocketman, but it didn't just pop out, and again that one transitions this big passage of time.
Big time.
Yeah.
I think every musical number and every moment where it uses kind of magical realism to tell the story was so creative, and all different. Every single time they found a very different way to approach starting this moment in the movie, and playing it out, as you said, kind of helping transition the time periods in the film. And every single time it was so creative, I thought.
It was, man. It really was. My gulp is my dong, yeah. This one's for John.
No thanks.
Mic drop. Like I said, the whole movie is wrapped around his public personality. And I know Elton John had a lot to do with the producing of this movie, but I do think it feels honest. It feels honest to me a lot more than some biopics do, like say the Johnny Cash one, which just paints him as someone who had a drug problem for a year but was really just a bleeding heart romantic, which is total bullshit.
Yeah, no, I don't think they sugarcoated it. I don't think it was too rough.
No, but maybe it wasn't.
But maybe it wasn't.
The honesty is brought through in this fantasy-like setting, so it's so much more easy to digest and so much more enjoyable to watch. Like, his downfall, though sad, is still so entertaining.
One bit of the story that I hope wasn't completely honest, but although it probably was how they depict his parents. God, that's a rough upbringing.
It probably was.
It probably is, but when you see the film, you know exactly what we're talking about. Both of his parents, for different reasons, are just the worst people ever.
Yeah, these very different ways, but equally as terrible and scarring to him as a child.
Yeah, I could see how he would grow up to feel like he's unloved.
And Bryce Dallas Howard as the mom was great. Slightly unrecognizable because they gave her some of this like kind of pudgy, pale, pasty British mom look of the 40s, 50s, whatever. 50s.
Maybe more of that honesty in the film. You know, she looked more like a real woman than
she did.
Her normal beautiful self that she can be.
That's a great point. The dad.
He seemed like a very real character for.
Oh my God!
Coming out of the 50s, I think maybe he had some. He possibly was in World War II.
I think it's implied.
It's implied, So, I mean, he seemed like a real honest character, just not somebody. I feel for anybody who grew up with a father like that.
Yeah, there's some of the most heartbreaking stuff is definitely his parents' lack of acceptance or just not caring. This is the best thing I've ever seen Jamie Bell do. I know he's a pretty solid actor, but this is a good role.
He always surprises me because I always kind of forget about him. He's not in a ton of movies, and when he pops back in, I'm usually impressed with the work that he can bring. And he doesn't. He's starting to look older, but he's this actor that every time he pops in a movie, they have him playing almost like a teenager. And I'm like, he's been in movies for 20 years. How is he still kind of playing a teenager?
I know, man. It was cool to see Tate Donovan pop up in a little scene, too.
Okay,
I was like, what the fuck?
I was waiting for the movie to end to look up who that was, and I forgot because he was out of the movie by that point.
It's Tate Donovan,
He was really funny.
He was.
With his little bit of screen time. He was so great.
Hats off to Taron Egerton. Taron Egerton.
I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce his last name.
He just ripped this guy up in the best possible way. Like, that's a good pun right there. But he could not have done a better job in this character. There's so many layers to it.
Dexter Fletcher. What I've seen from him, Eddie the Eagle, that also has the same actor as the star, Taron Egerton.
I heard he's good in that too. I haven't seen it.
That is an excellent movie. So I'm starting to really enjoy what this director can do. Taron Egerton has a great voice. I was really impressed with how well he sounds singing. So here's our comparison to Bohemian Rhapsody, which I know you haven't seen. What's his name? Who won the Oscar? Rami Malek. He doesn't sing. They just use the real Freddie Mercury's voice whenever the singing parts happen. So it's not as impressive to be like, oh, that guy's doing it all. Whereas Taron Egerton does it all in this movie and is impressive at every step. Now, he doesn't sound exactly like Elton. There's a couple times where the tone kind of hits the Elton sound, especially if you're not seeing him on camera.
Yeah.
But I still loved his voice. Like, I thought he sounded great.
I thought he sounded great too. And there's similarities for sure, the way he uses his pitch and stuff like that, but it is very different.
I would put this thing up for an Oscar for costumes for sure.
I would put it up for an Oscar for probably several things, at least at this point right now.
I agree.
You sound mixing, editing, lots of things.
Well, at this point in the year, it's one of the, like you said, it's one of the best films of the year, one of the best directed films of the year.
I could see it really sticking around because it just sucked me right in.
You're really going with those. You're really shoving those puns up your ass, aren't you? It still was a little bit by the numbers of like, okay, rise and fall of a celebrity, so you know what to get out of that story. Yeah, there's some beats that maybe you didn't expect with the parents or things he does to his managers or whatever.
Well, those are the pitfalls of biopics. Is that you're telling a story of someone who's a genius at what they do, but has demons. Otherwise, there's no reason to tell their story. And you're always there's every one of them is pretty much like that. The only difference is either they die at the end from some tragic death, or they get clean off pills. They all end the same. It's how you tell the story, and that's what this one did, because it knew it. Like Dexter Fletcher was like, okay, well, what separates this between Sweet Dreams or Walk the Line or La Bamba or the Buddy Holly story? Oh, I know. It's how eccentric Elton John is. and let's get inside his head and wrap the whole movie around that, because that's really all you can do.
And that's why I agree with your point about this movie just being the living embodiment of his personality and how entertaining. I mean, if you're not entertained by Elton, you're not going to be entertained by this movie, obviously. If you don't think Elton's fabulous, then you're not going to love this movie. But I still think, just as any film, I want to be sucked into a story where I'm feeling the drive of the story taking me somewhere, and it didn't feel like it had the drive other than just like, I'm entertained, so I'm along for the ride, but not narratively of like, what's coming next? I can't wait to see where this is going to take me. Because as you pointed out, they're going to end one of two ways for the most part.
Yeah. So was there any casting rumors that you heard about for someone else playing Elton John? Because I had heard the front runner was Chris Klein originally.
Chris Klein? Well, I did hear Tom Hardy, which I'm trying to picture.
I did hear that.
Obviously would have played an older version of him, I guess. I think they got the right guy for the job.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Fucking Eggsy. Such a fun, surprise, entertaining movie. I'm so stoked we decided to see this. We were gonna see Godzilla, but we said, let's go see a good movie since we got burned on Brightburn last week. I love the performances. Taron Egerton's a star. If he wasn't already, he definitely is now. It's such a great look into Elton John's life. We all know he's brilliant. He's been brilliant for 40 years. His music's beautiful. The movie really brings out his music in such a cool, interesting way. We've all heard these songs before, but it's great to see them shown in these kind of little, very intricate little vignette video type things. I was fascinated by this movie. I was completely brought into it. My gulp is my score, yeah. This one gets an 8.75.
I agree with you on everything you said about this movie. I loved it as well. I think it probably is the best thing I've seen this year. It's still somewhat early in the year, but I think this will still be a strong contender for a top choice at the end of the year. Such great performances in this movie. Really excited to see where Taron Egerton's career goes from here. I'm excited to see more from this director and its star. I agree with you. Elton is a fascinating character, has been a genius for many, many years. If you're not familiar with his music and you see this movie, you'll come out of the movie realizing, holy shit, I didn't know. I know every song by Elton John. Got to agree with you there that how honest this film was really an important part of what made it so entertaining and feel like the honest look into this guy's life that we all want to see, and not just another sugar-coated biopic that we expect to see every time. So you heard from Elton, now from John. My gulp is my score, and this gets a 7.5.
So as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching this latest Gulp review. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click like and or subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Leave some comments in the comments section below. John, where can they find us?
If you want to find us looking this fabulous, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Until next time, this is Elton.
And this is John.
We drink your cinema.
I drink it up!
Let me take you on a little trip. My supersonic ship's at your disposal if you feel so inclined. Well, alright. We're gonna travel faster than light, so do up your overcoat tight, and we'll go anywhere you want to decide.